our series, An Interview with Two UK Legends. Looking forward to the insights that we discuss in this Zoom conference that we held just the other week between Dave Peden, also known as Squeaky Clean Dave, and Peter Mackay, also known as Mr. Tradman. The three of us are going to discuss in this interview tips to starting our window cleaning business, and secondly, dealing with getting paid. What's some suggestions on making sure we don't get caught by serial non-payers? Some really good insights. So sit back, make yourself a cuppa, and enjoy the next few minutes as I interview two legends of the UK window cleaning industry. So if someone was starting out window cleaning, with the experience that you both have, what would be the top couple of tips that you'd give?
What do you think, Dave? I'll let you go first.
I'd say stop thinking about it and do it. Just get on with it.
Yes.
You know, there's that many properties around. There's enough work for everybody to do. Just get on, watch a few YouTube videos on how to start up, and just start doing it. And you know, stop procrastinating about it.
Yeah. What would you say?
And I would also say don't worry about going, you know, some people aren't starting with a lot of money, so don't worry about trying to get everything at once. You know, I've had people that I know that try to get into window cleaning, and they're looking at all the best stuff, the fanciest stuff, and they're like, oh, I need to get this. I'm like, no, you don't. Just start off, you know, get some basics, tools, you know, even start with trad gear first, get a good bit of business behind you, and then invest in the water-fed pole, grow gradually. You know, so I would just say, don't worry about, even if you can't afford things like uniforms and that. I didn't start with a uniform, you know, and getting embroidered, stuff like that. That's actually fairly recent, to be honest. If you can, go ahead, do it straight away. But even if you can't, just dress reasonably smart. You know, you can get, you know, nice work tops and trousers that just look smart, but you don't have to go the whole hog right from the get-go, you know. So just build slowly. Yeah, that's probably what I would say. Take your time.
Yes. Something that I've said to people is you need to understand how water reacts with different types of glass and how different types of glass need to be cleaned before you start thinking about water fed, because you need to be able to understand, like in Australia, we have glass called Comfort Plus, and on the outside it's smooth, but it's a tinted glass, but on the inside it's got a real rough surface. And even if you just soap it up and you try and run that squeegee across, you can feel the drag through your wrist. You can't fan, it's too difficult. But if you get a bad builder and he's put the window in the wrong way, you can have the external window with the hard part, and then the next panel is smooth. And so you have to learn to recognize all those little details before you get into the big stuff. So learn glass, how it reacts, various cleaners, working in the sunshine, and traditional is the way you need to start. Yeah. I think I had done 10 years of traditional before I went into water fed, maybe even longer.
I personally, I
thought one of those things is, sorry, carry on, Dave.
I started with water fed. I did go and do a course after I'd been going for a couple of months on traditional, and I can do traditional. I've got the kit to do it, and the occasional insides I do, but 99.9% of mine's water fed, and it always has been. And my system now, like Pete was saying about not having to buy the most expensive kit, almost 13 years on, and I've still got a DIY setup that I've put together myself. You don't have to have a factory put together setup that looks lovely. It works well, but it's expensive, and you can do it by buying the different parts. Even buying second hand. A lot of mine when I started was second hand, and it still works as long as you maintain it properly. It's going to do a good job for you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Yeah.
I must excuse myself for that earlier on. I'm at the side of the road, and like you said, that's a perfect example of how easy it is to get work.
That's
right.
There you
go.
That's right.
Just literally sitting here, and I've got window cleaner sitting on the side of the van. Somebody comes up and, do you do my street? And the thing is, it's one of those streets as well that I'm like, I don't really like the houses in there. So I'm like, no, I don't really do in there, you know. I don't want it. And she's like, oh, but I've been waiting for a window cleaner for a while. And I'm like, oh, red flag, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we've all got
why?
we've all got areas in our neighborhood where you think, if I can avoid that area, that would be fine. That would be
this
fine.
is it. Yeah, it's one of those areas where you know, it's a shame because they tend to put some rough cookies, we'll put it that way, in that area. Yeah. And we've had that issue before with people not paying their bill and things like that.
Yes.
It's actually one of the reasons I would encourage folks that are watching this, if you're ever going to get into window cleaning, go into things like Go Cardless straight away. Yeah. That's one mistake I wish I'd done from the beginning, and which we're trying to do now. But once people get set in their ways and how to pay things, it's very difficult to try and convince them to go over to something like that, because they just get into a routine.
Yes.
So, you know, it guarantees you get paid. You know, you can go and do these jobs, use something like, well, I use Squeegee App, so you can swipe the job as done. That communicates to Go Cardless and withdraws the payment. So there's a top tip for anyone that's watching that wants to get paid and not lose money like I have in that area.
Yeah. So how do you handle people who are late paying?
Excuse me a minute, Duncan.
That's all right. How do you handle that,
so,
Peter?
late payers, I would say, easiest way, well, again, just refer back to Squeegee App. It's made it a lot easier. You can, on that, there's a button on it where you can see everyone that's overdue you. And you can set it for whatever time limit that your company policy is. So for us, it's a 14-day payment policy. So as soon as they go over that, those customers start appearing in that category. And then from there, you can then hit, I think it's 2 buttons. And then by that point, you've sent out a reminder text message and email, depending on obviously what contact details you have for that customer. And it does it all in one go. So you can send out reminders and they get it instantly. But, it's a custom message. So you can put it as for us, it's something along the lines of just a friendly reminder from Mackay Window Cleaning Services that your last bill hasn't been paid for. The service has actually been suspended until payment is made, kind of something like that. So they know it's like, okay, I forgot about that. I better get that paid, or I'm not getting another clean, you know?
Yes.
But then we've also added a link for Go Cardless now as well. So it's a bit like saying, just so you know that service is now available. So, you don't have to try and remember, and you don't have to worry about forgetting to pay your bill. Just click the link, fill in with your bank details, bang, you never need to remember to pay your bill again. That works quite well. So highly recommend that app. Has been an absolute lifesaver. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I have looked at it, but I haven't investigated. I think when it first came out, I checked it out, and I think because it seems to be catered for the UK setup where you're doing places regularly, like every month. I use Xero, Xero accounting and software, which was developed in Australia and is now spread across the US and New Zealand. I think it might be in the UK, and it has quoting as well as invoicing. But I think it was either you, Peter, or you, Dave, or someone, I can't remember, but you put something in one of your YouTube videos on collecting people through Go Cardless. And so we've now put as our terms of conditions on every quote that every residential client has to be paid either by cash or credit card on the day of completion. And it's worked brilliantly because businesses, I give them 14 to 21 days because they're commercial, but for residential, it seems to work out well. So have you had difficulties with bad payers, Dave, yourself?
You always get the odd bad one. When we started the business, the choice that we made, because we'd heard people about getting caught with big commercial jobs that had been left paying. When we started, there was a big 6 months after we'd started the business, there was a big recession hit the UK. So we lost a lot of customers, but we heard of other people that had lost a lot of money with commercial. So we always said that we wouldn't go for the big commercial jobs. We'd stop with the domestic. If we lost a job, it might be £10, £20.
Yeah.
Although it's a loss, it's not going to change your life over it.
No.
So we've always kept that policy. We got a few commercial, but only very small ones.
Yeah.
So you get the odd one that you might get once that they don't pay, but then, as I say, you might lose £10 or £20, but they don't get their windows cleaned again.
That's it.
There are the odd ones you have to chase, but normally you can weigh people up pretty quickly whether they're going to pay you or not.
Yeah. I had one restaurant that closed down because of the economic downturn with COVID-19, and it was like an Irish themed cafe. They only opened April last year, and they'd plowed all their savings into developing this thing. And she owed me 3 weeks of. I went there every week, inside and out, and she owed me 3 weeks when she shut the place. So that's about $130, it's probably 40 to 50 pounds. But there's nothing you can do unless they remember and then they send it to you. But it's not like some who go for the massive commercial jobs and they can lose thousands and then.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that with these, especially like oil companies and that, like the window cleaner company I used to work for, they had a lot of oil companies that used to service, and it was in and out, and these were thousands and thousands of pound jobs, And the window cleaner was always the last to pay. And the guy that I used to work for, he described it a lot of the time as frozen money, because he would perhaps clean it 2, 3, 4 times. And when they finally paid their bill, they didn't pay the whole thing. They would only ever pay, maybe a couple of cleans. So you would always be due some money from them, 1 or 2 cleans. So that's why he called it frozen money, because you just never see it. And you're chasing for it, and it has to go through management to get signed off, blah, blah, blah. So it's a lot of hassle. I mean, it's good money when you eventually get paid.
Boy, that's it.
But is it worth the stress of chasing it up, and also potentially you don't, if you're going to keep servicing the place, potentially not getting 1 or 2 cleans worth, So residential is a bit more reliable, I guess, is the best way to put it. At least you're dealing directly with the person who's holding the cash,
That's right.
So
that's the case. So that's part 2 of this series. Wasn't that interesting? Really got some good points there that we can use in our businesses each week. I really appreciate the time that David and Peter made to be able to chat with me on these matters. So what's coming up in part 3? Well, advertising. That's something that we often think about. What kind of advertising should I use for my business? Digital marketing, word of mouth, Google searches. What's worked for us? That's what we're going to talk about in part 3 of this series, an interview with 2 UK legends, part of this Surviving COVID-19 program that's on my YouTube channel. So if you've enjoyed that, I'd be really thrilled if you shared it with some of your friends. If you're already a subscriber, I'd be happy for you to encourage others to subscribe to this channel so that the information that we share will be a benefit to more people. If you'd like to interact, right there is my Instagram, Facebook handle at McRae's Window Cleaning. I would love to chat with you and hear your thoughts on what you've enjoyed. Don't forget, of course, that you can put comments just below here. Now it's not right down the bottom now, it's just beneath the information, the description part of this video. You can make a comment and leave your thoughts on what you've enjoyed here on part 2. So we'll see you in part 3 in a few days. In the meantime, stay calm, keep well, and enjoy life to the best of your ability. See you soon.